Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a hump day edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. We appreciate you being aboard with us here as always. And if you need a roof issue, give us a shout 364-1007, or if you have a roof issue, I should say, 364-1007, 364-1007. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, and ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. Okay, y'all. As always, thanks for being here. Smash that like button, subscribe up to the channel, Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. LSU football lands a defensive line transfer. His name is Gio Paez. Incidentally, Gio Paez will be on after further review today at 4 p.m. Central Time. So to start hour 2 of AFR, we'll have Gio Paez. Looking forward to that conversation. Why he picked LSU, why he's leaving Wisconsin, all that good stuff. So Paez, quick backstory on him. This past year, played in 13 games for Wisconsin, started 6. More of a rotational guy. 3-star prospect coming out of high school, just inside the top 1,000 based on the On3 industry ranking. First 2 years in Wisconsin, played in just 1 game. But then over his final 3 years, played in 32 games. So if you're scoring at home, that means this will be his 6th college football season. I don't know necessarily what like a ceiling expectation is. Like, I don't know that when you look at Gio Paez coming in, I'm looking forward to talking to him a bit later. So I don't know that we're really going to look at him and say, okay, that's a guy you expect to come in to compete for starter reps. And by the way, he was listed as defensive end at Wisconsin, but he's expected to play on the interior at LSU. But that's a guy that listen, think of it this way. This is, I think, the best way I could describe it. So, you've got Jacoby and Guillory coming back. Jalen Lee, who transferred in last year, kid from Live Oak who went to Florida, transferred in. Those are very likely your starters. Okay. Now you got Sean Washington as well, the JUCO transfer. So a kid from New Orleans who went to Georgia, was there for a year, went JUCO, and now is at LSU. Remember, after that, guys like Tyge Hill, Fitzgerald West, all of these interior defensive linemen transferred. All of your young depth guys that hadn't really played much, they all transferred this offseason. So after those first 3, you really didn't have numbers. I mean, that's why Kimo Makanaeoli moved from offensive line to defensive line for spring, just to give you numbers. So when you look at Gio Paez, think of that as saying, okay, you added a rotational guy that's a 6th-year player as opposed to a guy like Fitzgerald West or Tyge Hill who were young players, right? Young players who were part of a rotation. So now you've got a dude that's 23 years old who's being his 6th year of college as a rotational defensive lineman. He did play against LSU, by the way, in the bowl game and had 2 tackles. So for whatever that's worth. Familiarity. Okay, so Gio Paez commits. I'll get your questions, comments in. And I guess I can tell you this now. I don't mind telling you, but when LSU hired Bo Davis, let's just say I had a conversation with someone who would be it would be essential that this person know this information. This person told me that Bo Davis had 2 silent commits out of the portal already. And so that's why I've said very confidently LSU is going to get at least 1 defensive lineman out of the portal. And by the way, I do not know if Paez is one of them. Just full disclosure, I do not know if he's one of the 2. But even if you assume Bo Davis gets 1 of the 2 that he had silently committed out of the portal, great. So I was very confident in saying that they were going to get, and look, they had to, obviously. So, they've gotten 1 out of the portal. I'm clear. Now it's really, I think, a question of how many more do they add? Because if you can add starting caliber players, like if there's a Braden Fisk in the portal this year, of course, the defensive lineman from Western Michigan went to Florida State, now is a borderline first-round pick. of course you go get that guy. And then baseball beat Southeastern last night 8-4. Tommy White hit a bomb in the second inning. LSU got up early on Southeastern, won in the first 4 in the second. They put up a 3-spot in the third as well. Jay Johnson, they had a chance to walk it off. Tommy White came up with the bases loaded in the seventh in an 8-2 ball game and missed a home run by a grand slam by about 5 feet, which would have run ruled Southeastern. But a couple things that Jay Johnson changed. He did bump Tommy White down to 3 in the order, and he moved Ethan Fry to the leadoff spot. So he went Fry, Neal, White, Jones, Travinsky, Brown. No, I'm sorry, Jones, Travinsky, Pearson. Brown came in later. Pearson, Bingham. No, Pearson, Milazzo, Braswell. No. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the box score, and there were so many pinch hitters in the game. Hang on. I'm sorry. He went Fry, Neal, White, Jones, Travinsky, Pearson. Sorry. I'm trying to get what the starting lineup was because with so many substitutions, it's hard to make sense out of where they were. Because the bottom third of the order was Bingham. No. Milazzo was the pinch hitter. That's right. So it was Bingham, Braswell, Milam was the bottom third of the order. That's right. Milazzo was a late inning defensive replacement. That's what was confusing me. My bad. Excuse me. So a couple things. We got to talk about this yesterday if you were here. Yeah, they went Fry, Neal, White, Jones, Travinsky, Pearson, Bingham, Braswell, Milam. That was it. So I gave you this example, and I promise I'm coming to say some good mornings here. My contention is Jay has role players trying to play key roles. Guys like Bingham, the bottom third of your order is essentially what I'm talking about. Bingham, Braswell, Milam, role players that you're trying to get to be stars. Dylan Cruz led off for you last year. There is no comparison between Dylan Cruz and Mac Bingham. Bingham in the 7 hole is a lot more appealing than Bingham leading off. Same with Braswell batting 8th and Milam batting 9th. Milam struggled to start conference play, batting at the top of the order. You sit him, you bat him in the midweek in the 9 hole, and he goes 3 for 4. So, yeah, man, so the bottom third of your order was much more productive. Bingham was 3 for 3, hit a homer. Braswell was 1 for 3, and Milam was 3 for 4. So the bottom third of your order was massively productive. But Ethan Fry led off and went 0 for 4 with a strikeout. He did walk once. So, look, man, if you want runners on base for your run producers like Tommy White and Jared Jones and Hayden Travinsky, you have to find a way to get production at the top of the lineup. They don't really seem to have a table setter right now, and that's kind of their biggest problem offensively. Okay. Enough of me. Let's get to you. Abner Neal, good morning. Robert Miller, good morning. Devin Johnson, good morning. Have you noticed work being done at Tiger Stadium with the upgrades? Have a good Easter. I have not. I've not been over by Tiger Stadium or in Tiger Stadium. Wendell, but we will get to go in for the spring game. So I'll be able to tell you what I see when I'm in there for the spring game. Let's see. Wendell Norman, Kelly Gross, good morning. Tiger Diver, Reggie Mack, good morning. BL, good morning. Cajun Country, new kickoff rule is stupid. I'm insulted. That was part of the game. I practiced more than anything. Now it's becoming a joke. I flatly disagree with you, Sean. I think it's awesome. I think it's a great way that that they're going to actually get returns back into the game. So if you missed it, essentially, there's no more fair catches, and if there's a touchback, the ball comes out to the 30. So they're trying to encourage returns, which I love, as opposed to just kicking the ball through the end zone every time and start at the 25. So what they're doing essentially is now the kicking team will move to the opponent's 40, but they can't run until the ball lands or is caught. So it's reducing high speed like collisions. But if you look at a play, like go look at the XFL kickoff, it's the same functionality without a 40-yard running start. Like where the ball is caught, essentially that's what it whenever it's just eliminating a 40-yard sprint downfield with sprinting collisions. I think it's great. You're actually gonna have kickoffs in the game again. You're actually gonna have special teams in the game again. So, dude, I could not disagree with you more. I think the one thing I don't like is you can't surprise onside kick. You have to declare if you're going to onside kick. Patrick Berglass, good morning. Brett Gidry, any insight on UCLA women's team? I don't know anything about them. Not really. I'd be lying to you, man. Tommy Primo, what's going on? Von Bluesman, what's up? Leon Williams, morning. Hoping Ramchick is able to play. Even more walk away from the game if necessary without further damage. Yeah, man, all the so if you missed a Dennis Allen on Tuesday at Dennis Allen on Tuesday at the NFL meetings said essentially the process with the progress of the Ramchick's knee is not as good as they had hoped. So he's going to miss very likely the entire offseason, and we'll see if that bleeds into the season. It just magnifies the importance of drafting an offensive lineman. I mean, you have to. Spurge, good morning. Silo, what up? Barry Jocelyn, good morning. Bubba Smith, Taylor Hudson, Johnny Troxler, Dale Broussard. Good morning on a beautiful jingle-free Wednesday. You know what, Dale? You're going to inspire me to play it now. Jason H., what's going on? Matt Lynn, what's up? Colin, that's a long comment. I have a different viewpoint on the current state of NIL transfer portal. I loved watching your show since 2019. Find myself not watching it really as much. NIL and portal have gotten so bad. It's same with recruiting any other sports websites. Fans don't care to learn about their teams if star players on the team might be transferring. Waste of our time. Your comment cut off the rest of the way. That's fine, Colin. If you want to listen or not. But I'll tell you, my show is thriving. Ratings, numbers, digital, everything keep going up. Same is said for college football ratings. And the multi-billion-dollar deal ESPN just agreed to with the college football playoff to carry a new 14 and potentially 16-team playoff. So, honestly, you're in the minority. I mean, and you are totally entitled to feel that way, Colin, of course. I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But with respect to college football fans, you are in the minority, as evidenced by the fact that the sport keeps growing. There's more revenue. There's more fans. There's more TV viewership. There's more. So, the thing I tell you is cheer for your team, not for the player. Brent St. Germain, what's going on? Logan Rodriguez, thoughts on the Ohtani situation? Logan, let me get some resolution to the whole thing before I give you like a real hard opinion on it. I think of course Shohei Ohtani knew what was going on, and they're MLB and the Dodgers and Ohtani are doing CYA because he's the most marketable player in the league. Trey Fisher, what up, Trey Fisher? Good morning. Hope your day's good. Gary Petrie, morning, Uncle Scone. Prayers for those in Baltimore. Man, that was wild. When I first saw the video, I saw the video yesterday morning. I got up to go work out, and it was like 5:30, and I was scrolling Twitter, and I saw the video on Twitter and I'm like, is that fake? Um, and lo and behold, went and did a search and what just thankfully there wasn't more loss of life. Um, but yes, terrible, absolute tragic, awful. Bounce back win for the Tigers and the Gators loss win-win. Chris Williams. Okay, Chris. Yeah, you can't you can't spam the chat. Charlie Cavell, what's going on? Jason H, bad news, Birds didn't win. Yeah, disappointing, man. They got down big to the Thunder, rallied, and had a shot, but in the final 2 minutes, OKC just outplayed New Orleans in those final 2 minutes of the game. So disappointing loss. Hang on 1 second. I got to go stop Drew's backpack. I'll be right back. My apologies. Okay. Where did we leave off? Dane Bergeron. What up, Dane? Good morning, man. Eric Hart, good morning. Been a minute, man. Hope you and yours are well. Ray Langlois, James McKinney, Rocky Killian. Who do you expect to back up Nuss, Collins, or Swans? Great question, Rocky, and I don't have that answer right now. I think they brought in AJ Swan to be that guy, considering he actually has more playing time experience than even Nussmeier. So they brought in Swan to say, okay, look, you've played 2 years, you've been a starter in the SEC. We got a guy, an experienced backup, but from all accounts, Ricky Collins is really pushing AJ Swan here in the spring, which I think is great news because competition, um, you know, breeds success, and I think that's a great thing. And I'm kind of pulling for Ricky Collins. Not that I don't hope AJ Swan's great, but I think you could look at upside with Collins, and this feels like his opportunity because you got a young guy behind him in Colin Hurley, and then 5-star Bryce Underwood gets to campus next year. So, um, I, I think they brought in Swan with the idea of him being the backup, but Collins is giving him a run. Edward Cooper, what up, Edward? Good morning from Nepal. Okay. Scott Shirley, good morning from Bossier. Appreciate you have Shea Dixon on the show, but his audio quality is invariably abysmal. It was bad yesterday. The pass, I think it might just be where he is, but yesterday the audio was bad. But we hadn't had that problem in weeks and weeks and weeks. So I wouldn't say invariably. Like the last, 5-6 times we've had Shea on, it's been fine. Because there was a time, I don't know, a couple months back where it was really bad. And I was like, hey, man, were you on your speaker? It sounded really bad. So anyway, we'd fixed it for a while, but yesterday was bad. Make defense great again. What time will Pro Day be today? Pro Day is, think it's 10 a.m. Hang on. Let's see. Hmm. Here it is. 9 a.m. doors open for media. 10 a.m. pro day begins in the team room with measurements, and then they go to the indoor facility. It ends at 2 o'clock. Let's see, about 5 more minutes. Jeff G, I agree with you on Kling in the field. His upside, do you see Jay sitting Kling for a bit to get his swing right? I think that's why he sat him for 2 games against Mississippi State. But again, there's also the thought, like, how can you get your swing right if you're not taking live at bats? But I'll tell you, the other part of that is Jake Brown. And if Jake Brown, who is probably the best athlete on the team, if Brown, in his opportunities, can produce offensively, and the drop off in center is negligible, then I think Jake Brown will be your option in center field. Is Major Burns going to be covering the opponent's slot receiver? Not necessarily, Brandon. Maybe as the star, but you could also have a nickel in there as well. I think more so with Major Burns in that star role, you'd probably be looking at him against like a tight end or a back out of the backfield. Jason H, one last match shuffle for us. I think I'd have to play it on my. Well, let me figure it out how I can get it so it sounds good. Then we'll do it. I'll try tomorrow. Larry Garner, what's going on? Neil Weaver, Morning Scone is the best. All right, Neil, appreciate that. Very kind of you. Chris Keller, did you see what Pete Rose said? He wishes he had a translator. LOL. That's pretty good. Dane, congrats on the recent awards. Thank you, Dane. Yeah, last Friday was the LAB Prestige Awards. We had a great day. Our radio group, Guarantee, won 9 LAB Prestige Awards. At 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge took home 5, which was the most ever for our station, and the 9 was the most ever in 1 year by a radio group. So we were thrilled. Hey, Dad, good morning. Bailey C., what is good morgan? Is that something Drew said? So when Drew was little, when he would try to say good morning, he would say "Gamorgen," like Gamorgen, or Gamorgen, and so that's why Irfan Sayad, who comes on here and always says Gamorgen, that's why he does it. So yes, that was when Drew was little bitty and learning to talk. I guess that's still a process, but I'd say good morning. He would go Gamorgen, Gamorgen. So yes, that's what that's from. Yeah, and thank you. I mean, sometimes I just take for granted and assume that everybody knows those things, but should always, if there's ever something, it's one of the number one rules of a talk format is you never want to have an inside joke from your audience. So you ever want everybody to always feel like they're in on it. So if there's ever anything we talk about or do here that that you're unfamiliar with, please ask. James Avery, good morning. Ronnie Duga, mom is getting kidney removed today. Pray, please. Will do, Ronnie. Hope everybody will join us. Say a prayer for Ronnie's mom today that everything goes great. I'm sure it will, Ronnie. Prayers to you all today. George Bucher, good morning, Matt. You're an awesome dad. Thank you, George. Appreciate it. Best job in the world, man. It's easy. It's easy when you love your kid that much. I think everybody that's a dad knows that. Jerry G, good morning. Scott Beckham, morning. Matt Moscona, hope all is well. Doing good, Scott. Thank you, man. Where are we? Eric Hart, after watching Blake Baker mic'd up video, hearing him speak at St. Jude's Men's Club meeting, we definitely got the right type of guy to give us hope for improvement. Well, you know what, Eric? Here's what I'll say. I'm less interested in what a coach says. You don't get hired if you're not charismatic to a degree. You don't get hired at jobs like that if you can't speak and communicate and motivate, right? The thing that gives me more hope than something Blake Baker says, because Matt House would say all the right things too. Is he's got a track record. His unit was good while he was here, and remember he was also DC at Miami. And the 2 years that he was at Missouri, they dramatically improved from one of the worst defenses in the country to one of the best. So he's got the skins on the wall, and I think that's the really encouraging part of it for me, anyway. Lisa, good morning. Rick Manuel, good morning. Only got about a minute left. Rode, do you pitch Holman against Smith? Yes. I understand the question, but I'm not pitching backwards. I'm throwing my best against their best to give them. I'm not conceding a game. I'm throwing my best against their best to try to have a chance to win. Daniel Holden, how do we watch Pro Day today? I think it's streaming. I think you can stream it like at LSU's website. Antron Hemingway, what's up? The boys at practice today or tomorrow. Not today. They are again Pro Day. Pro Day is today, so no practice today. They'll be back at it tomorrow. Very cool. Thank you, Antron. Let's see. Jordan Simpson. Good morning from Shreveport. Steve Wilson. I love the Uncle Scone story. Speaking of inside stories for regulars. And Silo, what's in the smoothie? Berries or mixed fruit. Protein, plain Greek yogurt, raw unfiltered honey, Louisiana honey, and then the what are the superfoods? Chia, hemp seed, and the cocoa nibs. That's my smoothie. Okay, we're done. It's 8 o'clock. I got to go. LSU Daily is already live. If you want my full recap of LSU Southeastern, it's there. And so please, on your favorite podcast app, go subscribe to LSU Daily. AFR3. Peace. I'm out of here.